Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory, the place where everyone else on the planet gets their boxing knowledge. Okay, so we're going to be getting into a little bit of Shakur Stevenson versus De Los Santos, and we have a really long film study. We have a lot of clips to get through, so we do want to kind of start getting through them because it is a long film study. But I think that this is going to be one of the first times in Shakur Stevenson's career where he's really in trouble. Okay, I think De Los Santos is a pretty good fighter. His only loss is a split decision against, another guy who knows who won that fight. I can't find it anywhere to study it to figure it out. But so far, De Los Santos showing a really excellent craft against fellow southpaws. Okay, and that's the focus. That's the important part. And here he is fighting a powerful southpaw, young, in Valenzuela, who was kind of a knockout artist himself, hard hitter, and he actually hurts. De Los Santos a few times in this fight as well, and we're going to be talking about these things because all of these ideas are huge and hugely important. Okay, now first thing that happens, he's getting on the line and then using a little stepping jab. If we take a look, his head position here when he throws this shot, De Los Santos is a guy that moves his head every time he throws a punch. And it's sometimes, not every time, but sometimes it can be very difficult to pin him down and hit him clean while he's trying to move across your line and hit you clean. Very tricky. But right at the beginning of the fight against the power puncher, he immediately starts attacking the body. The first punch within 3 seconds of the fight starting. Okay, a lot of gamesmanship here from De Los Santos. Now, as we take a look at him, he's going to get on the line, stepping jab, and we take a look at Valenzuela's position here. His hands are down. Is he in position to block another punch? If a rear hand came straight through, would he block it? What would happen if he followed up here? And that's what De Los Santos wants to see. And now he's going to kind of rock back and then forward. He's going to get back to the line, anticipate maybe a shot coming, gets his high guard up, back, forward, controlling some space with his gloves. And now he's going to get back to the line here. He's going to throw a jab, push Valenzuela back to the back half of his line, pendulum off that jab, and follow up. And again, this is 11 seconds into the round. He's already landed a jab to the body. Then he threw a jab to see what his opponent looked like. Oh, is he trying to counter my jabs yet? No. Following him back on his line and throwing power shots. Okay. Now, this is really important once we get to Stevenson because Stevenson doesn't react to punches very well. Okay. In fact, we're going to go ahead and sneak one random clip here of Shakur Stevenson, and it probably is him not reacting very well to punches. Okay, I just wanted to point that out there that almost no matter what clip I went to right there, it was going to demonstrate that point. Okay, and it's a very important point as we continue with the film study. Now, next clip, here we go. Jab, and again, the same position. He's throwing a real quick jab, stepping jab, and he sees a very similar position, the one that we just saw Shakur Stevenson in, 1, 1, 2, and he's following it up 22 seconds into the round with hard shots, again, against an undefeated prospect, okay? Actually, he might have lost to... Did he lose to Colbert before or after this? I'm not sure. Either way, a very difficult thing to start doing, and then following up. Look at him following up. Not even just a 3-punch combination, but a 5-punch combination there, okay? Very important because... Again, Shakur Stevenson, there's a lot of problems with his defense, a lot of stuff, and we're going to get to Shakur Stevenson's film as well. Now, this is another move that I think if he sticks to it and he gets comfortable with Shakur Stevenson's timing, because Stevenson is pretty fast too. Again, we're going to talk about that, but this counter in particular, I think will be very valuable for him, getting under this and coming back with the hook here. As we can see, it does kind of make it through Valenzuela's guard. And Shakur Stevenson loves to throw his jab. Nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times when Stevenson throws his punches, he gets pretty predictable. Okay, and we're going to talk about that stuff as well as we get through the film study. Now, here he is. Watch Valenzuela get on the line, and he's going to get to the front foot, back foot, and he's bringing his weight to the front foot. Now he's moving his back foot. Now he's going to move his front foot. And as he goes to move that front foot, De Los Santos drops to the ground. He's going to pull here, get his weight to the ground, down, And that allows him to create a footwork structure to throw his punch with 2 feet. Okay, to really drive his weight from the ground and get a lot of value out of it. This is a theory that I call 2-foot punching. Um, Most people are never taught this skill. They learn it on accident simply by being in great shape and doing everything, because it kind of counterintuitively goes against what people think and understand and imagine what boxing is. Okay, now what boxing really winds up being when you get good at it is a lot of that down up motion, as you have to drive all your weight from the ground up. Again, my 2-foot punching theory, I'm the first person in history to come up with the theory that we need to learn to drive weight with both feet every single time we punch or we do anything. If you want to learn more about this stuff, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. I am the first coach in history to be able to say 100% definitively that I can teach you punching power. It's not God's gift. It's not everyone punches different, everyone this. No. I can teach you to do what Ryan Garcia does. I can teach you to hit like Tank Davis. I can teach you to punch like Mike Tyson. You're going to have to work for it, but I will teach you what to do with your body to make sure that you can. Okay, so check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System link in the description below. And then at some point during this video, I'm going to be doing a little quiz question, and whoever gets the answer right, first person to get the answer right, will get a free Fouts Boxing Combat System. So stick around, pay attention to the film study, and when we have a question that has your opportunity to win the Fouts Boxing Combat System, answer in the comments below. But again, my combat system is not just to teach you punching power, okay? But it will also teach you how to weaponize that punch. Again, it's the theory of the 2-foot punching, or the 1-inch punch, or the 1-inch hook. And not only am I going to teach you how to throw your best, your hardest punch, and how to increase your punching power, not just throw your best punch, but improve your best punch as well by leaps and bounds and huge amounts of margins that people say are impossible. But I'm also going to teach you how hitting people with it works, how to get on the line safely, how to make an attack on the line and how to get off, how the mechanics work. There are film studies, there are tons of student demos, learning how to do this on the mitts, learning how to do this on the bags. Check it out. In a few years, it will be the only combat system that anybody uses. It will be the base for every single fighter on the planet. Okay? So check it out. Anyway, getting back to the film study. This is really interesting because as we watch him get on the line here, he's waiting for that opportunity where a lot of really good amateurs are going to explode, and they're just going to explode, take that little step into their punch, into their move. And as we can see, De Los Santos is ready for that level of speed. He's ready for that level of contact, and then ready to move into a punch after it. Okay, with his down-up motion and his very, very high-level technique on his pull counter, he's able to get away from a very quick punch and make a very heavy attack on the line. Okay, all these things are very, very, very important. Now, again, De Los Santos is a very, very big fan of the down-up motions, okay? Getting under this punch, and then again, this allows him to blast his weight back onto the line by driving from both feet, okay? Now, again, as his opponent comes forward, high guard, right? He's coming forward, sneaking into this hook a little bit, boom. And again, I'm not a fan of ducking below the waist, but you got to get under the punch. If you're going to be ducking, if this is a hook, he should be not ducking a hook. He should be blocking it or rolling it. But doesn't stay there. And now this is really, really, really interesting because immediately once he comes into this position, look at the position that he comes into for fighting on the inside. Okay, this is already demonstrating that he understands where and how to position himself on the inside as well. And again, I think this is going to have a dramatic effect on the fight. But again, we have like 50 more clips to go. We got a lot of work to go through. Now again, very, very, very explosive style from Valenzuela, blasting him with that jab, him getting under it, coming up with the 2, and following it up with the 3. Now, penduluming a little bit with it. I'm not sure he wanted to do that, so maybe there's room if he over or misuses this move as he's blasting his weight. Again, he's very, very, very athletic, very fast, very powerful puncher. But there may be opportunities to find him off of that move. Now, I'm going to tell you guys why I think that's not the case. Okay, now here he is going to be getting on the line. Here's his stepping jab. And now watch this motion that he does immediately after. You see how he brings his weight to the ground, his pull? Now I teach this drill on my YouTube channel. Uh, for the heavy bag drills, it's improving your combat sequences, and it's a very, very, very common drill to learn how to do. And here we have, even though Valenzuela is stepping with his jab and he's penduluming after, he's purposely bringing his head here when he throws the punch, and now when he pendulums, his head is down here, and now he's going to check the line here, right? And now he's going to do it again, jab, and he's going to go down to get away from a defensive move, and see how he gets away from that punch? Valenzuela tries to attack this point, not understanding that he was able to safely escape that point here, already demonstrating a mastery. Jab, here's his head, down. Now again, he can ride the momentum of this move into his next attack. Okay, and this is going to be really interesting because Shakur Stevenson loves to counter the jab. Shakur Stevenson also gets stuck on the front foot when he throws his jab, and he'll get stuck in a position like this. But Shakur Stevenson does not have this move. Errol Spence does not have that move either. And that's why Terence Crawford was able to catch him after he would jab and pendulum after the jab and try to come onto his line with the rear hand. And Crawford was able to take advantage of it over and over and over again. Canelo Alvarez does not have that move either. Okay, again, one of the reasons why I picked Terence Crawford to knock him out. Now, as we continue to move forward, again, very, very similar move, right? The jab is going to come. He's coming down. He's jabbing as well to get under this probe. He's going to jab to the body to close distance, land another shot over the top. This guy is very fast. He throws this combination, right? And again, he's not a very like one punch at a time kind of guy. De Los Santos throws a lot of punches, and that's going to be very, very, very difficult for someone like Shakur Stevenson, who relies on speed and athleticism so much, and being the better athlete, being the faster guy. Now again, blasting the line, very, very common position that Shakur Stevenson finds himself in, and here's the defense. Decent seeing of this punch here, able to recognize that that shot's coming, and now when the other hand comes from Ray Valenzuela, the left hand, see him turning away, even though it didn't come, but we can see that De Los Santos is aware that that's where the next attack is going to come from. Very, very high level guy, even when he appears to be out of position. Now, here's a rear hand getting onto the line with De Los Santos. Again, he likes to duck, he likes to pull, right? It's not that bad. He's not going to stay there that long. He's got his guard up, which is great. Okay, and now when he comes up, this body shot comes here. This is a shot that Shakur Stevenson loves to throw. He loves to throw the rear hand to the body. He loves to throw the rear hand to the head as well. But when he throws that shot, De Los Santos catches him with that right hook here. Okay, this is very, very, very important because this is one of the punches that De Los Santos loves to throw to counter the left hand of his opponent. He loves to counter the left hand with the right hook, but sometimes his placement of this punch is very poor, okay? Now, when countering after the punch is already landed, like in this sequence here, if he were to counter here, he has a pretty good rate of success landing that shot in safety, okay? Sometimes he'll try to counter in this position here as the punch comes, and we're going to see him do that to Ray Valenzuela and it not pay off, but here he waits for the punch and explodes into him with the hook after and has a lot of success getting control of the line. And then again, De Los Santos does not throw just one punch at a time. Boom, boom, boom. 4-punch combination, right? Gets on the line. He's going to throw that first hook. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Chasing him down, breaking his position. Jab. Very, very cool move, right? Pull, right? The same move that he was doing in the clip before, and now he's going to follow it up, right? He's seen that Valenzuela is not really reacting too much. He's allowing him to get to the line. Valenzuela is putting himself in this bad position here, right? Now, as he gets to this position, it's jab. And now they're both going to move off the line here, right? The shot came, and as they both pull their weight to their back foot, De Los Santos is going to pendulum forward, allowing him to snap into the line and surprise Valenzuela. Again, this guy is very, very tricky. This is no normal jab. This is no normal thing. This is bait. This is his probe. He wants you to punch at him so he can come down here. Oh, I got under it. Oh, you didn't do anything. You're not in a position to defend yourself. And he's able to make it through the line because of this fake Philly shell thing that Valenzuela is doing. that Shakur Stevenson also likes quite a bit. Okay, again, this is going to be a very, very tough fight. If this is not a tough fight, then we will learn a lot about Shakur Stevenson. Now, getting on the line with the jab here, bringing his weight off the line here. Not the greatest defense, right? He still sees the punches coming. Blocks that shot, gets off the line of here. Now, sometimes getting feinted here, and as he comes forward, boom, boom, boom. Some really, really, really good shots here. Didn't have his hands up this time, right? He didn't pull, he didn't go down, he didn't go up. He kind of lulled himself here and winds up getting caught with a decent combination. He blocks this one, eats this one twice. So I do want to point out that De Los Santos is going to need to be on his P's and Q's. But here's the thing. Shakur Stevenson does not have punching power. His last two stoppages were ref stoppages. Granted, I do think that Jamel Herring was like about ready to go anyway. Like he probably just would have went down and gotten beat up a little bit worse. But the other guy, I think that guy was fine. He was taking some sharp punches, but Shakur Stevenson doesn't hit hard. And that means that he's 20 wins with 8 knockouts. And like how many of those other ones are just random ref stoppages? Shakur Stevenson does not have the punching power to threaten De Los Santos, right? If Valenzuela is going to be cracking him with shots like this, landing cleanly, how is Shakur Stevenson going to be able to threaten his position, right? How's he going to be able to threaten him in the ring? And the thing is De Los Santos is the most dangerous fighter Shakur Stevenson has ever fought. He's the only fighter that Shakur's ever fought where if he makes one mistake, he might lose the fight. And that's one of the biggest things about this fight is that Shakur Stevenson cannot put the same type of pressure on De Los Santos. He cannot put him in a position where if he makes one mistake, he might lose the fight. Shakur Stevenson does not have that capability. Just like Keyshawn Davis. He has to fight all the rounds, mostly. He has to fight a good number of them. And that puts him at more danger for people like this, like who have punching power. This is the interesting dichotomy about people who don't have punching power as well. And if you want to learn, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. Guaranteed to teach you how punching power works. I'm the first person in history to understand how every mechanic is all put together all at once to guaranteed teach you how to punch harder. And hard. Not just harder, but powerful. But a lot of people operate from the standpoint from Shakur Stevenson's that if I'm fast enough and my punches are straight enough, I'll always win all the fights. But there are plenty of guys who have a lot of, like Amir Khan, super fast, right? Obviously, he doesn't hit the hardest, right? But if you're always practicing your punches like that, you'll never learn to actually punch hard. That's just not how it works. But if you also operate from the other side, where Canelo is, right? Where Canelo's like, I don't need straight punches. I'll just throw my hardest punches. And the level of fighter that can compete with him and be in the ring with him just because he jumps on the line and throws a hard punch, right? There are very few fighters that are pound for pound going to be able to stand on the line with him, right? Or near his weight. And Shakur Stevenson has that, but for the straight punches. You've got to be fast enough to find him. If he can get on the line and get off the line, then maybe he's never in any danger. He can just outbox you, right? But we're going to talk about that a little bit later, okay? Again, let's look at a few more patterns. Down, he pulls this shot, comes up with the body shot, up with another body shot. And again, following up multiple punches. Never just one punch at a time. Feinting here, controlling a little bit of space. Now, this is a really interesting move because this is off of a rear hand probe from Valenzuela. Valenzuela sticks his left hand out, and De Los Santos tries to counter it, but he's trying to counter the straight punch. Okay? Now, you have to move your head when you punch. You can't just leave it in the same spot and you want to make a technique like this work. It just doesn't work like that. Like, ask Israel Adesanya. Okay, so he does wind up coming out ahead because of the fact that wound up being a probe from Valenzuela, not a punch, so he's able to counter him with that shot. But this is one of those habits here that I think may be very, very difficult, right? Maybe I think this habit here is either going to win the fight or lose the fight for De Los Santos. Okay, I think that this is where one of the biggest margins of error can happen. I think Shakur Stevenson is capable of playing the boxing games and playing and working off the jab. Even though I expect De Los Santos to be winning those games, I expect him to be coming out ahead with his combinations. Shakur Stevenson may be fast enough with the straight punches if he can get De Los Santos to interact with him to counter them. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that as well because we have a lot of film to go over, but there are a few caveats to that as well. Feinting low, again, taking a step in, getting low, down, down. Now, very interesting. Nothing came from his opponent, right? And again, De Los Santos is very fast. He's expecting a very explosive jab. Boom. He sees a little bit of movement here, and he's immediately pulling, right? Getting his weight down. Valenzuela is going to bring his weight to the line. Here it comes. Boom. He's down. Feinted. He got feinted, but he's going to come up with the shot. And he uses his own explosiveness, right, to sneak into this punch that Valenzuela should have been ready for. He already feinted him. Why didn't he beat De Los Santos to the position? Well, De Los Santos is faster than him, right? And it's very interesting that he didn't even waste the motion after getting feinted. He just used it to still throw the punch and was able to catch Valenzuela on the way in. Now, they get each other, right? But anyway. So, very, very interesting stuff. Penduluming in. 1, 2. Very, very quick. 3. Combinations. Body shot. Body shot. Now, he just hurt Valenzuela in this sequence. He just hurt him a few seconds ago. Caught him with a good shot. Right? Now he's going to let him off the ropes. Get back on the line. 1, 2. Follow up. 3. Gives him space here to punch. You see how he pulls off the line here? And then again, pull counter. Body shot. Body shot. This is him showing that he understands that at some point during his offense, his opponent is going to have energy to fire back. He's giving his opponent an opportunity to control space. And oftentimes, if an opponent who's hurt sees that, they're going to take it. And here again, just like when he puts his head out there on the jab, it's bait. He sets up a pull counter now. Nothing came. He moved his weight. He feinted. He changed positions. He reacted, and he just used the momentum again to make an attack on his opponent's line. Again, this guy is a really, really high-level guy. De Los Santos is a very, very, very good fighter. I think that he's maybe being a little bit underrated here, as he is a massive underdog to Shakur. Now, this is the sequence here, right? He's going to try to counter Valenzuela's left hand, and Valenzuela is a really hard puncher, and it winds up hurting and dropping him. Okay? Throws the shot to the body, throws the shot to the head, and he tries to counter with the punch, but he winds up being just a little bit late and getting hurt. He does catch Valenzuela as well, but he kind of goes down. You can see he's fine. His face is fine, right? His head's okay. He still goes down, though, right? I think he gets hit in the next sequence and dropped, actually. But that sequence there is going to be very, very, very important because Shakur Stevenson loves to throw his straight left hand, and he throws it a lot. And again, we've got a lot of film to cover. So now, very, very interesting because here he is getting on the line, right? Here's the probe. He's pulling that shot. Easy work. He comes in with his own pull. Boom. And then it wound up being a trap from Valenzuela, who was catching him with the shot, but also getting caught with his own shot. Okay? And this actually winds up hurting Valenzuela really badly. Now, this is the interesting thing about this fight is that sequences like this are very possible for Shakur Stevenson, where he comes out ahead in a sequence like this. But see how Valenzuela, who is a very hard puncher, has a lot of knockouts, dropped to Teofimo Lopez in sparring. Right? Great timing. He's the one in trouble here. Not De Los Santos. De Los Santos is chilling. He's chilling right there. Now, this is just beautiful boxing as well, okay? Now, Shakur Stevenson is not very good on the inside. Again, we're going to talk about it, okay? But here he is. He's got his opponent in this high guard. He's controlling him a little bit, controls his glove with his glove there, touches him to the body a little bit, and then he gets his opponent to react and counter and control some space after touching him here and counters him. But he threw this shot, tap, tap, right? He's going to touch him, tap, tap, and he gets tapped here, and then he gets countered. And this shot is a vicious strike. Look at how quick that shot is. And again, hurting Valenzuela. And Valenzuela, again, also in that fake Philly shell kind of thing. He doesn't understand what position his hands are supposed to be in. He's not an inside fighter as well. But De Los Santos showing that he has a little trap here. Tap, tap, gets a reaction, and then counters it, and winds up dropping Valenzuela. Jab. Now he's going to pendulum off that move, pull, and throw a rear hand. And look at how just wildly athletic this is. Down, up, down, up. Beautiful boxing. Incredible power, incredible speed, super hard to deal with. And this position that Valenzuela's in, this is almost the exact same position that Shakur Stevenson winds up being in every time he looks to defend himself. And again, we're going to talk about it. I know people don't like me talking bad about Shakur Stevenson. Gets on the line. Now, this is really interesting, guys. Now, those movements where sometimes where De Los Santos is predicting a shot, he's like, okay, the shot's going to come, and he pulls really quick, and he goes, right? He's going to do something else here. And he predicts that Valenzuela is going to throw a punch here, and he explodes, right? He just immediately moves into this shot. Boom. His timing is incredible. Now, have you guys ever seen that Mayweather jab where he's on the ground and he goes, ha, 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 and he just kind of explodes into that jab? Shakur Stevenson fights with that jab. He throws that same jab, he'll throw it, and then he'll throw it two after. He'll go, ha, ha, and he'll take a little step. This is what De Los Santos is doing here. Right? He's doing that same kind of jab. He's like, okay, I'm going to predict it. I'm going to be real relaxed. Here he comes to the line. Wow! And explode. Timing him perfectly. Okay? This is very, very, very important for the course of the film study. Again, doesn't throw just one punch. Boom, boom. He's pulling. Back to the line. Back to the line. Pull. Right? Check this beautiful boxing out, guys. Gets him with this shot. Boom. Body shot. Shot. Pull. Boom. Boom. Pull, boom, boom, boom. Extremely active. And then pulling, getting his way back to the back foot. Extremely active, lots of combinations. Very, very, very dangerous. Now, again, sometimes pull counters can be very dangerous, all right? Now, Shakur Stevenson's best combination is a 2-3. And if we have Valenzuela or we have De Los Santos trying to counter every pull counter, he'll be really susceptible to the 2-3. So I wanted to point this out that because Valenzuela is taking a small break here in between his punch, boom, and he's not just snapping into the 2-3, he doesn't wind up landing it where Shakur Stevenson may. Now, Shakur Stevenson also winds up quite off balance after that shot and may be susceptible to more counters. But again, I do want to point out here is De Los Santos countering the left hand and getting hit again. Okay. Here's someone trying to counter over the top of that jab, boom, and here he is getting off the line of it. You may count it as a body shot, that's fine. But again, it's harder to hit him than you think. Now, very, very, very interesting, okay? Again, De Los Santos throws a lot of pull counters. A lot. Here, Rayo gets on the line with them, jab, and he tries to pull counter the jab. And we see how that 2 catches him right on the chin just a little bit. This is an example of a shot that may be able to hurt De Los Santos, even from someone not as hard punching as Shakur Stevenson. If De Los Santos is driving all his weight from the ground up, down, up into that punch, as long as Shakur Stevenson can be crisp enough and sharp enough with the shot, he may be able to get enough weight into it to make De Los Santos hurt himself. And the 1-2 is one of the very, very common punches from Shakur Stevenson. He just throws a very quick 1-2. And if De Los Santos times the pull counter wrong and the 2 comes and he's only expecting a 1, he may get hit here. But here's the thing is if he does get hit here, right? Shakur Stevenson still has to be able to hurt him, right? And Rayo's catching him just a little bit here and still getting hit, still getting followed up on. Okay? Little lead hook here. Again, very, very difficult to fight. Down, up. Shakur Stevenson doesn't always have his hands up or in position to guard the line. Now, beautiful move here. Beautiful, beautiful move here. Gets on the line, pull, gets a reaction from Rayo. Rayo's going to come in stepping with his jab or his hook, and then gets cracked with this shot. Very, very, very dynamic openings here. Again, opening with the lead hook or opening with that pull counter right hand. A lot of variation from him. Now, beautiful shot here. Getting on the line, the rear hand comes. Now, if he tries to counter with the right hook here, sometimes he's going to get hit because he's not moving his head. See how he moved his head away and now he's coming back with this shot instead? I think that if he can do this to Shakur Stevenson and if he can avoid trying to counter with the shot, sometimes he'll have a much, much, much more concise game plan for beating Shakur. Now, here's the thing is there are things that Shakur does that actively make what De Los Santos does even better. And we're going to talk about that stuff. Okay. Now, first thing we want to talk about, Stevenson stepping jab here, right? Very fast, explosives, real quick. But one of those things that he tries to do is Stevenson tries to get real quiet right before he strikes, right? Down, real quiet, real relaxed, and then he'll explode into these shots. And again, immediately, Herring trying to counter, and then him trying to counter as well. Okay? So Stevenson loves to play these jab games. Okay? He loves to play them. I think, it's one of the first games that we learned to play. And it's one of the ones that Shakur Stevenson has always kind of been good at. Now, Jamel Herring is he's a little bit taller, 3 inches taller version of a poor man's De Los Santos. He's tall. He has like a decent active guard, right? De Los Santos has a decent active guard. He moves his head quite a bit. Herring is going to kind of emulate that because he has to against Stevenson, right? As he's moving his head across the line here and then finding a punch to steal here. Now, again, let's take a look at what position Stevenson presents after he gets attacked on his line. Is he in a defensively responsible position? No. Right? And it means that following up against him will be very, very, very easy. And again, De Los Santos loves to throw combinations. Now, Stevenson trying to sneak into that shot, right? Trying to blast into it, stepping jab. Look at where his head is. Is he going to be vulnerable to the lead counter hook from De Los Santos? Maybe. But more than likely, he'll be vulnerable to the punches that come after it. And that's kind of one of the things that I think is going to be a problem. Counter, counter. Again, it's not that difficult to hit Stevenson, a few times. Stevenson may tighten up sometimes. He may present new challenges or change his range and small stuff. Jab to the body. Very common pattern. Not a very difficult one to counter. And again, he's stepping on the line. How many times did we see De Los Santos make a pull counter? He could still pull counter this, even if it comes to the body here, pull counter. And Stevenson doesn't get away that fast. His hands are down. There's like a few problems. For the most part, Stevenson's pretty quick usually. Now again, what position did Rayo show? Boom. And how quickly was De Los Santos looking to follow up? Well, immediately, because that's what you do, right? Again, that Philly shell-like position from Shakur, not going to do him any favors in this fight against the faster, I think, the harder punching De Los Santos. Now, that jab that I showed, again, there's a lot of clips in that fight that I didn't show of him and of De Los Santos also having really, really, really great timing. But we can see it a little bit here, right? Stevenson's trying to explode, and Herring can kind of see it coming. Counter, counter. bad position from Shakur if a 2 were to come from here. And we have seen that De Los Santos is able to throw a 2 from here, no problem. Right? But he's going to try to explode into this punch, right? Boom, right? Look at his head coming straight forward. He does catch Herring, right? But this punch, this exploding thing that he does here is going to be, I think, the downfall of him in this fight. I think it's going to be very, very difficult because he always steps, he always explodes. And again, his timing, he's kind of sneaky, but we can kind of tell when he's about to throw it, when he's settling down, waiting, and then going to explode into it. Stepping forward, his head's in that same position, and he doesn't pull and bring his weight to the ground like De Los Santos. Okay? Now as we continue going, 1, 2. This is really interesting because sometimes this stuff is really quick from Shakur. It's really, really quick. Now, if we take a look at the angle, though, Shakur Stevenson's not a power puncher. Look at where his hands are. Okay? Ryo got him, and I want to say it was a straighter punch, but it was sharp. It was quick. It got to the line really quickly. But Shakur Stevenson gets really wide sometimes with these shots. Okay? This is going to be very, very, very important as we continue. Again, Shakur does not present himself in a very technical position after he gets attacked. He usually just expects to be able to explode and throw punches on the line and keep you off of it by punching at you. Now again, jab, left hand to the body. De Los Santos can counter with the right hook. And that's a move that he's shown that he will chase a guy with. And he will throw combinations. And again, Stevenson just doesn't keep his hands up. Stevenson sacrifices a lot of his actual athleticism for trying to be fast, and he doesn't realize that they're the same skill. But no real feinting or probing. He's just going to do that thing where he pendulums, boom, and explodes. Now remember when Ryo did the same thing, and he got clipped right there with that jab. Boom. When he takes these small steps like this against De Los Santos has that same snappy, speedy jab that Stevenson does, except I think that his is better. Stepping jab. Now again, stepping jab, look at where his head is. He falls off the line after. Okay, very quick though. Misses this one. Great position? No. He saw that he was moving for the next jab though, the next move. Poor positioning again from Shakur after. And not very dynamic offense. Okay. We want to take a look at that 1-2, 1-1-2 straight. Okay. Now, the really straight one, I think he's going to need that against De Los Santos. I think if he gets really wide, he's going to be in trouble. But if he can keep these shots really straight, that's his best shot at beating De Los Santos, because De Los Santos loves the pull counter. He loves the block counter. He loves the kind of a catch and counter. And then he likes to follow those shots back. Yeah, he's very, very dynamic with his moves here. And Stevenson's going to need all the time that he can for defense. Again, when he throws that punch there, that stepping jab, exploding into it, his head gets stuck on the front foot, and he's available to be hit by people. Might be the left hook, it might be this, it might be that. Penduluming forward. Now, this is also very, very dangerous, okay? Because, again, one thing that we saw, De Los Santos is very quick. So as he pendulums on the line, just like Ryo tried, he might get jabbed here. Boom, super quick jab. He might get hooked here. He might also just get straight left hand, right? These holes that Stevenson presents here, they only work against fighters who are not as fast as him, who are not as, who aren't as strong as he is. And it's interesting because poor positioning, counter, okay? And again, this is right in De Los Santos' wheelhouse. If he's going to get you coming, drawing, jab, right? He's going to get you following him back, right? Because that's what he wants. Couldn't he pendulum after this shot here, right? And then be on Shakur's line before he's ready to throw this punch? Definitely. and then countering this shot. I don't know where the holes are that Shakur Stevenson has to exploit this guy. Now again, if he's ready and he's in his position, Shakur Stevenson's going down. He's trying to throw this punch here real quick, but he's open. These big wide shots here, even if Stevenson hits De Los Santos, he's not hurting him. Just like Valenzuela, he did hurt him, but Valenzuela was the one that was in more trouble. Even if Shakur Stevenson hits him, if he doesn't hurt him like Valenzuela, he's going to get hurt. He's going to be countered. He's going to get followed up on. Now, if we take a look at this jab here, right? Getting on the line here, stepping jab, right? His hands, okay? The same pace, that same explosion, right? Stepping jab, stepping. No defense after. So many holes, okay? Stepping jab, exploding, right? Almost getting countered. And again, Herring is not as fast, not as explosive. Counter, counter. And again, lots and lots of snapping from Stevenson. Now, check this out, right? After throwing this jab, look at the position that he's in. Look at how he kind of falls off balance after 3 in a row. Boom, boom. Gets to the line here. Control a little space. Opening up with this hook. Is he going to get countered here? Is he going to get, if he throws this shot, will he get hit with that same insanely crazy jab that De Los Santos rocked Valenzuela with? Now, he hit Valenzuela with that shot multiple times. I only showed one in the film study, but he hit him with that shot multiple times, okay? But when he opens up with shots like this, he's going to be open to get countered. He's going to be open for these shots. He's going to be off balance. Again, he's not really a counter puncher or a combination puncher, Shakur. He's got one great combination. Jumping on the line, 1, right? 2. Is he there for the counter as he pendulums forward? Looks like it. Another 2. Okay. Again, a lot of stepping stuff. Stepping jab, exploding into this one. Poor defense. Comes back with a little shot to the body. Defense. This looks like a great highlight from Shakur Stevenson, but a lot of the stepping shots that he's throwing in these are going to make it very difficult for him to have success. Now, this is a really interesting thing too, because when Shakur Stevenson puts his glove out here, he's not actually looking to punch you. He can still punch you from here, but usually he's just trying to control some space, because Shakur Stevenson almost always actually steps with his jab, right? Just how he stepped into this 1-2 here, and again, stepping. Okay? Step, 1, 2. Defensively responsible. He'll need to be against De Los Santos. Stepping. Is he ready to counter? This kind of stuff here. This is where De Los Santos is really going to excel. This shot here, where he jumps on the line with this 2. He doesn't really have great control of Jamel Herring, but Jamel Herring's not that great of a fighter. He's controlling the jab. Boom. And see how he blocks this shot? He's going to go under it instead of countering. De Los Santos has enough time to counter this punch, and Stevenson has a terrible habit of getting really wide with these punches. Okay? Here we go. Little stepping jab. Again, stepping jab from Shakur. Stepping jab to the body. Again, very easily countered. And again, pay attention to that timing, right? There's a timing where you just kind of know when Stevenson's going to throw. Big wide 2. 1, 2, 3. Now, he is hitting Jamel Herring with everything but the kitchen sink, and I want you to pay attention to where his head is. Okay? He's going to jump on the line. Boom. Now, his head is not going to move at all. Where did that little sequence go? How did I miss it again? No head movement whatsoever in those 4 punches. And again, it's going to put him at a huge disadvantage against De Los Santos. But again, the combinations against the pull counters may be very helpful. Okay? The counters at the same time or countering in between, right? If he gets Shakur Stevenson to open up, right? And he can counter him with the right hook. I think that's one of the only places that De Los Santos will really have Shakur Stevenson in trouble. He could get him in trouble with any punch at any sequence, but Shakur Stevenson getting wide with his left hand is going to, if he gets knocked out, I think that'll be the most likely reason. And as we get to toward the end of this film study, I am going to be picking Shakur Stevenson to lose by knockout. Now again, no head movement, getting on the line, exploding. Very, very, very explosive style from Shakur, right? A lot of snap, snap. Okay, and all that stuff is really, really, really important as we come to come to the end of the film study or the end of the clips. Okay, we got this 20-second clip here, 112. Herring figuring it out. Now, this 22-second clip here that we're going to go over here, okay, as we're watching, it's really important that you understand and you remember that this is the same round that Herring got blasted on. Shakur Stevenson is taking a break here. Now, Shakur Stevenson controlling a little bit of space there, and then his hands go down. Control a little space there, and his hands go down. Got feinted, and nothing happened. Now his opponent's going to jump on the line and start throwing punches at him. You cannot just let someone like De Los Santos jump on your line and start throwing punches at you. Control some space with a punch. Explode, explode, snap, snap. Very high energy defense, right? Poor defense. Poor defense. Very poor defense indeed. Now, it's really important that we pay attention and then getting countered here, right? Getting hit with the left hand on the inside. It's very important that we pay attention to the fact that Shakur Stevenson's hands are down in most of that sequence. Okay? This is a really, really important idea because Shakur Stevenson is very explosive on offense. 1, 2. Okay? Now we're going to skip ahead a couple rounds. Now, Shakur Stevenson on defense here. Okay? Here he is trying to hold and trying to wrestle and fight on the inside a little bit. But Shakur Stevenson is not good on the inside at all. There he is getting hit with an overhand left. Easy shot. Exiting the line again in the poor Philly stance shell. Right? His hands are not in correct positions. Like his body is like wide open if that's why his hand is here. He just got cracked over the top. He gives him a good laugh, like a good smile. And now here he is getting hit coming on the way inside. Getting controlled. No defense on the way inside either. Trying to force his way inside. He doesn't want to punch. And look at how he does this move here. He's going to try to close the distance here and body up with him because Stevenson throws a lot of punches to control space. A lot of stepping jabs. A lot of high energy moves. He doesn't keep his hands up, so his defensiveness is snappy as well. All of the defensive moves that he makes have to be defensive slips because he has to respect everything that his opponent does. Getting hit on the inside here, again. And then again, getting hit on the inside. Very, very, very bad inside fighter from Shakur Stevenson. Okay? Again, just getting clobbered here. What is he going to do against someone like De Los Santos? And this is like one of the most interesting things, again, because Stevenson tires. He is not a hard enough puncher to be able to throw that many punches at somebody, control that much space, and keep their weight and their power off the line. He doesn't have any great defense. He's always in poor positions when he moves off the line. His hands are never up. He's never guarding the line. His defense has to be very explosive because he has to be able to dodge explosive punches. And when he doesn't, he has to move to the inside. Little quick exploding jab here. Stepping again, still. Little stepping, exploding jab. And now this, that jab, super good jab, super quick, super tough to detect. He's still stepping with it. And again, the fact that he's throwing this punch, right, again, still stepping jabs, even though he's like on the line with his opponent, I think is going to be very bad for him against De Los Santos. Now, this is a really interesting clip. Here, Stevenson is again getting beat and worked on the inside. There's a few things that he's not doing. Number one, he doesn't have any underhooks, right? You see the Jamel Herring's right arm under the body here, right? And look at Shakur Stevenson's right arm. He has no control over his opponent here. Okay, so he's allowed to let it go, and now he's allowed to free his other arm and free his body, and then throw this shot here. Okay, now he wants to be Floyd Mayweather. Okay, a little bit of a look here. Here's Floyd Mayweather getting on the inside, and look at how he gets his left arm. Right, in this case, it would be the right arm for those guys. All right, but see how he gets his left arm under and on the body, and now he doesn't want it to stay on the body because that's holding. He wants to move it up and ride the arm. You see how Cotto's arm is like this? This is not on accident. This is not an ugly, like, oh, this is an ugly exchange. This is exactly what Mayweather wants. He wants to drag Cotto and hold his weight over his front leg so he can't really hit him. He can't really transition his weight out of this position. And that's exactly what Mayweather's trying to do. And Cotto had to struggle and fight to get out of it. And we can see Mayweather trying to push him into it, trying to control that arm. He's controlling that side of his body with the underhook, and it's not allowing him to throw this punch to the body here. Okay? Now, Mayweather's going to lose it. Cotto's like, okay, I can't fight like this. And as soon as he loses that underhook, right, what does he do? Well, he tries to get one on the other side. He ties up that other arm, right? He does not allow Cotto to actually control or work on the inside. And this is what Shakur Stevenson is not doing. He has no control over his opponent's body or his opponent on the inside. And we've established multiple times that De Los Santos is very good on the inside. Throws lots and lots of good punches on the inside. Has great eyes. Sees lots of stuff coming. And again, getting to this position, where's the underhooks? Where's the control? Eating a free shot here, right? He's got his arm around him, right? But he's not really controlling him, and now he's out. And he's able to hit him. Again, a lot of people think Shakur Stevenson's a good inside fighter. He doesn't know how inside fighting works. He doesn't know how any of the tactics work. And all of you guys expect in the next couple weeks lots of people to start sending out ways to teach this stuff that I just taught here on my channel. Expect it to show up. Anyway, now for the Fouts Boxing question quiz. What is the first thing that Shakur Stevenson should work on? What is the first thing that Shakur Stevenson should work on, or the least amount of effort thing that he could do for this fight with the highest amount of value? Okay? And it's a technical thing, what he would need to change, what he would need to do. And it can be a simple answer. I will accept very long answers if they are exactly what it is. They just say it in a funny way. But yeah, leave your answers in the comments below for your opportunity to win a free Fouts Boxing combat system. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, what do you guys think? Who are you guys picking? I'm super excited about this fight. I cannot wait for the actual fight to watch it. Yeah, and right now, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards De Los Santos by KO. I think that he's going to wind up hurting Shakur. I don't think that De Los Santos is exactly Lomachenko, but I don't think that Shakur Stevenson is all that much better than Guillermo Rigondeaux. I think that Rigondeaux was not nearly as active on the line as Shakur has been able to learn to be. But the overall skill set, at least Rigondeaux could hit a guy and really hurt him. And he could hurt you with either hand. And that's what made him really dangerous. Even though his fights were sometimes really boring and really this and really that, you just couldn't be on the line with Rigondeaux unless you really knew what you were doing, like Lomachenko. But Lomachenko showed that Rigondeaux, who would try to fight out of that very similar style, pulling the weight to the back foot, not exactly Philly shell, but ducking below the waist and bringing his weight to the back foot and penduluming off the line, would get shut down by someone who could fight a little bit on the inside, right? And again, Shakur Stevenson doesn't know what to do with his hands on defense. He doesn't know what to do with his hands on the inside. He doesn't know what to do with his hands when they're wrestling, right? So, anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, thanks, guys.